he wants to air us in. Alrighty, go for it.
Okay.
Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I did call the meeting to order, I just didn't say it.
I heard you.
Good. Okay, minutes, everybody had a chance to read the minutes?
Yeah. No,
Feel free to take a minute to read the minutes.
wait a minute per minute.
You have a hard copy here? I've already read them at home.
Make a motion to accept the minutes.
For a second,
Second.
you need a minute, Eric? All in favor?
Aye.
Ready.
Okay. I really don't have a report per se, other than the fact that, we did, get our 2024 annual report out, thanks to, our advisor over there. And I was happy to work with him, and, you know, we didn't do so bad if you really look at it. I mean, for a new body, and according to our advisor, he thinks we're as active as any other group has been, if not more so. So we just have to keep on the schedules, mind our Robert's rules of order, and try to keep what we say we're going to do. Like when we're on a topic, stay on that topic, and we'd ask you, since there's only one of you, to if you have comments, stay on the topic, and if you have other comments, wait till the end of the meeting. Okay. Anything else that, Eric, you think I should mention?
The only other thing is tomorrow is the River of the Year Festival, so if any of you want to swing by, it's free to enter. There's food trucks and there's speakers. I think they start at 3 o'clock
Where is it?
at Minisink Park, right here in your township.
You
Right
said
on River.
tomorrow?
Tomorrow, Wednesday,
2 o'clock.
2 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 2 to 8, the speakers start at 3.
Rain or shine?
Rain or shine. It shouldn't rain too terribly, but there probably is gonna be a slight amount of precipitation.
Yeah.
So I hope to see folks there. I'll be there. And it's gonna be a great experience overall. Educational vendors, there'll be food trucks, there'll be speakers at 3. Gates open at 2. The parking is right there at the park. Anyone have any questions on the River of the Year? It's to celebrate the Delaware River and its outstanding water quality and all the benefits it brings to society, including the drinking water for over 15 million people. So it's certainly a remarkable river that's deserving of the title.
Until I looked at the map that was sent out in the email, I didn't realize that our township, the biggest border we have is right on the river.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and we're right on the Jersey border too, so it's interesting.
Yeah, that's good.
We have a lot to protect.
We do.
Okay, we'll go to old business. The July newsletter. Eric's gonna fill us in on what the Board of Supervisors.
He's Alex.
Yeah, so
Alex, not Eric.
Eric,
I think the newsletter, it's a good start. Good start. My opinion on the newsletter is that the section below, we need your help. And how to provide input should be refined to reflect, when we're soliciting help, we need to be more specific. It shouldn't just be a general, quality of life complaint. It should be kind of in line with your mission. So I think we should ask for help with, if somebody wants to help remove invasive species, like do a volunteer day or something like that. If somebody wants to help do an educational presentation or something like that. Maybe there's a subject matter expert. This is a pretty well-educated municipality, so certainly there's someone who might be willing to come in and give like a presentation on their area of expertise. I think, you know, we can organize maybe like tree planting days or like tree cleanups. Or maybe even like pollinator garden installations.
What are you suggesting that we put?
Well, I think I'm suggesting that you put that, be more specific about what you want help with. So if you look at the draft newsletter, it says, do not limit your input to the listed priorities. Please provide any other priorities. I think this EAC should tell them, these are the things we want. And my recommendation are the things that I just mentioned are like, hey, do you have something that's relevant to ecology or?
You mean give examples of what?
Yeah, give it, like, we need people, can you please come in and give us a 10-minute presentation on your area of expertise? Maybe somebody's an expert on how to, plant natives, like meadows or something like that. That might be more helpful than just generalized concerns and complaints or people that wanna find, that's my recommendation after giving this some thought. Maybe they work at a local school and can invite us in for a presentation, like what an environmental council is, what's a local government, like those are the sorts of back and forths, like we can do it as well. We can give presentations and they can come to us. But that's, I think, how you want to kind of go. The township wants to see this as more of as an educational group. So if, we can be invited to give presentations, or if we can get presentations to us, and then we can establish a collaboration, then maybe.
Well, do you want us to give you some suggestions or
Well, I mean, now that you mentioned that, remember that, that first, webinar we did, where they did some things on doing gardens using, or cleaning up the water from the downspouts and building a garden.
Trying to figure out why Amazon Prime is popping up on the television right now.
Because you don't have it, you have to put input.
It is input.
Okay, put it on input and then select.
I'm sorry to interrupt. I'm just gonna turn it off for now.
Okay, that you can do.
okay, I think it's a great suggestion for us to be more specific.
And I think it also follows with Eric's suggestions for 10 different educational possibilities, or whatever label you want to use for that, sure. Yeah.
Okay,
And
so
yeah.
what do we want? Do you want to select some?
Sure. I think you do a lot of stuff on Facebook, and you wanna do something here and
Yeah,
and
um,
and present something on environment or
yeah,
because I see you do a lot of this
I was,
conservation.
yeah, I was thinking I can do a sustainable building workshop of some kind. Cause the farm is, it's built out of, it's insulated with hemp. Everything inside of it, this sourced locally, so we sawmill wood and, so like maybe a sustainable.
I know you did videos, right?
Yeah,
Why don't you, is it possible you take those videos and then put them together and then we could project them and do a presentation, people could see them through this Zoom process?
yeah, I mean, there's only 2 or 3 people on there every week, but I mean, if we're trying to educate the community and we want, I'm happy to do like an open farm, which we've done
Right.
before. I think that's probably the best, because you can talk about a lot of things and.
No, I think
Much better to see.
that's really interesting that, yeah.
Yeah,
What
so we
you're
can,
doing with the, I see that you're redoing the old farmhouse, right?
yeah, well,
And the insulation
The,
that you
the
use.
main thing was just hemp insulation and sustainable building materials, but I guess, I'm happy to do an open farm, for the, for the, sponsored by the committee or, whatever, however we wanna say it, and then. We can invite people to the farm and kind of show them what's been going on there. Our opening date is supposed to be August 3rd. So I'm really trying to focus to get things done and, I have zero time before, like, it takes up every minute of every single day plus more, so. Sometime in August, I would love to do an open farm for the community, would love to, yeah.
Well, shall we, how would we say that in the newsletter, that we're planning things such as,
I could maybe insert some text and change the solicitation. Instead of just a, we need your help generalized, I can add some of the things I mentioned and, we can maybe connect and put that in there, including, and we'll set the date and say, hey, here's an example of something we're doing. Do you have something like it you'd like to help the community or something?
or,
That would be. that would be
or
great.
let us know if you're we'd like to,
Yeah, or something that you want to showcase, something that you're, passionate about, whether it's beekeeping or some type of, in the Delaware Water Gap, Lauren Chamberlain has a really beautiful greenhouse operation going. She's selling flowers. I think she would really like to show people that because it's also a business.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's quite a few things that we can do, but yeah, maybe, we're having Eric White is, opening the farm to the public on this certain day and to kind of showcase the work that's going on there. Do you have something that you'd like to share with the community?
Yeah.
yes, and what I guess. Maybe, I'm not sure, let me look at what that said, but we want to share knowledge about the environment, that's what.
Yeah, and
So,
and
for that
maybe we
wording.
can do it like I suggested, Pat, like you can say, we are also willing to come educate you on local
Yes.
government and how we can help protect the environment. Let us know if you'd like us to do a
Right.
guided presentation or something along those lines.
Good,
I like that because one of the things that I've enjoyed about being in this group, this council, is I've learned so much. And I think it's all been a learning experience, and I think we can excuse ourselves in a way for not having taken a whole lot of actions.
well, I agree with you, after working with Alex and kind of looking at what we had done for the year. We really have learned a lot and opened ourselves up to trying to learn, and we're only learning because we want to help the township, so.
Exactly.
Alex, made me feel a lot better after the report, I drafted some of the report and he said, it wasn't as bad as you thought. Okay,
So
are we okay, Alex?
that was a good discussion. You don't have to take any action. I'll edit this and then come back to you in 2 weeks.
Okay,
Well, one suggestion, I could be wrong about this, but for some, when you see a signal, a line like this, we need your help. That signals dollar signs for some people, and they might think immediately, well, they're asking for a donation, and of course, that's the last thing we're asking.
well, do we want to say participation or
Partnership.
Partnership, I like that.
great one,
Yeah,
yeah,
something like that.
Yeah. And then, once we have a larger number of people here, we should take a group photo and then put it in with it. So hopefully on the 4th, we'll have, at least 5 of you, and then we could just take a group photo. Robert won't be back for a month, but at least I think that might be nice too. I feel like for the July newsletter,
we could have the other supervisors.
anybody who wants to come
Yeah.
and take a group photo, but I'm just saying, like, we should have a photo of the group, so
Okay.
they know who
I
we are.
agree.
And then, for the July newsletter, this was supposed to be a July one, I would recommend just sending the annual report out instead, because I
Okay.
think that's,
That's good, that's a good idea, yeah. Okay,
Do we need to approve the annual report? Is that on?
well, do we, Alex?
well, that's the next agenda item, if you wanna jump into
Oh.
that.
Oh, yes,
Yeah, I think that would, basically be, so the annual report, I'll let you jump into it, Pat, since you started this and I just kind of.
You
fill in the
made it
gaps.
much better. But I was trying to do it in Missouri in the Ozarks and I had no support, electrical support. I couldn't get my computer to work, I couldn't get connected, so you had to do a lot of fixing up from what I sent in. So, okay, any corrections or additions to it?
It might be nice to add on the bottom, like on behalf of, and then have you, maybe get a picture of you and just have you as the picture there. As the chairperson, since this is, you're kind of lead, usually who submits the annual report is the chair, you know. It'd be like Pat Owens.
Well, will you have your picture too?
Wow.
As an advisor, I
It's up
think.
to the group how you want to do it. You want me to be the picture? I
Yeah.
can sign it and then have my picture, or it could be yours. I mean, it's up to you.
Why don't,
I think you should be there, not Eric, but Alex, of course. Because-
sorry, Eric, or Al. Well, you think I'm never gonna stop that? I think it's because my deceased husband's name was Eric,
Okay,
and so it's in my head.
all right. Yeah, I think, since you provide us with the materials and stuff for all the meetings, that, you're a vital part of this, council, so, yes.
I think it'd be good for your campaign too.
Oh, don't mention,
Oh, I'm not supposed to mention it.
not really.
Oh, sorry. I didn't say that.
Yeah, just to clarify, no, that's not a thing. You know, there's a clear separation of what I do in my private time and what I do here, so. I would only do it. If
Okay.
it's the group's wish, and there's no connection to anything I do on my personal time, just to be clear on that.
Well, I'd be happy if we both did it too.
There you go. Okay.
The joint effort, how's that?
Joint effort, okay. So before you leave, Pat, let's snap a photo of you and then,
Okay.
and then we can, or maybe somebody can take a picture of me and Pat or something like that. Okay,
We can do that.
so, do you want to talk about the content at all? One of the things that I put on there, Pat, if you look on the second page, I kind of highlighted in bold three of the big things. The environmentally sensitive areas mapping, the complete form, and then the open space project and planning. And then I guess the fourth big thing you did last year was all this education, which
Yeah.
was very time consuming, right? So I would say those are like the four. You spent a lot of time as a group just learning, as Ken alluded to. You probably spent a minimum of 50% of your time just learning about municipal government and your role here and talking about and the history of the environmental advisory.
I think that's very important.
Yeah.
Because that became apparent to me when
Yeah.
I was looking through our minutes.
Mhm. And then, then there were projects you accomplished along the way, the environmentally sensitive areas map, which is over there, which was a great collaborative venture between the county, the supervisors in your group. And it was also one of your powers at council. You were supposed to do that. The complaint form, which we had some discussions on. And then the big one was the open space, kind of following through with the open space project. So
As I looked through the minutes, it was pretty clear that the supervisor really wanted that. I mean, he encouraged us to complete that, you guys that were on that committee.
yeah, and you might want to follow up with the supervisors at some point in the future and ask them, hey, what do you want us to do with that? Considering we spent all this time,
Yeah,
Right now
well, they
it's-
said I thought they indicated they would get back to us. No,
I haven't heard anything back, but again, it's something that maybe you should, when you
I will.
When you go to the next meeting,
I will go
maybe
to-
maybe it'd be something that group might want to bring up and say, hey, what are you gonna do with that at this point,
Yeah.
Is this something you can formally adopt as a resolution, as like a starting point for sometime in the future, or is there? What do they want, what exactly do they want to do about it, considering you spent probably at least 25% of all your time just working on that one thing, and it's also a combination of all the work that was accomplished from the previous open space board. So it's not a
Yes.
trivial amount of investment from the community, and so it'd be nice to see it maybe formally adopted somehow.
Well, I don't think we can expect the supervisors to act soon because Robert's out of the country for several weeks.
Well, there's no money to act on any
Well, I'm
purchase,
talking about the
but
supervisors even discussing it at any rate. Like, there's only 2 out of 3 at the next meeting, is that correct? So I don't know how they're gonna handle it, but I'm just saying.
well, I can just suggest that they give us some feedback. Is that that's what you're saying, right?
Yeah, it's as a planning tool, what do they wanna do with it? Do they wanna just file it away, or do they wanna adopt it as their formal planning tool? Knowing, you know, with the caveat, there's no money and there probably won't be for a while, but what do you wanna do with it now that it's, you know, so
Okay,
much?
I can do that. Okay, anything else that we want to talk about on the report? Again, thank you so much for polishing it up and making the important points. And I think that education one is very important. I feel like I learned a lot too.
Mhm.
Lots of still to learn for sure.
So you can probably, what I would recommend is just voting on formally sending this to the board, and they'll have it in the board packet for their July 8th meeting.
Okay, could I have a motion,
Motion to send this on.
second,
I second.
all in favor?
Second, after it's edited and tweaked a little bit, right? Not as it is.
Mhm.
Right, okay, just to clarify that.
Yeah, with the pictures and everything.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Good,
Are we voting or is there a second? What
yeah.
happened?
Yeah, Eric made the motion.
I second.
All in favor? Aye. Now, will we plan on doing that the next supervisors meeting or the one after that?
July 8th meeting. I'm gonna send this to them, and then it'll be kind of a dual thing. This can be your July newsletter, and it'll also be, like, I'm not gonna send a picture of us with the document in the report packet, but it'll be kind of like formally, here's your annual report, and then, you know, sort of a side thing is, by the way, we also want this to be our July newsletter for.
Okay. We did vote, all in favor, aye, yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
okay. Annual official map, it's, you're on, James.
I'm on. Dun, 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 dun. Okay. We don't have points, right? Okay.
Do you mind using the,
Yeah, I'm gonna use the big one. It'll be easy. Okay.
Want to just give us a little briefing on why this is important? I mean, two four
Oh, yes,
sentences.
I'm gonna make this
Good.
very clear.
You're not gonna point out every detail on the map, which we can't really see anyway, are you?
I'm gonna point to things that I know you're gonna see because that's the first step. Okay, the reason that we decided to use to go into the map was because everybody's asking for a comprehensive plan. Comprehensive plan is great, but it's costly. And they become more outdated sooner than later. So we came to an understanding that it would be easier to use the official map and make up our proposals on the map on the things that the township would want to do over time. And since it's a working, living map, we would be making the changes or eliminate things that are no longer needed, or we
Can you
add.
see that?
No, let's see if we can.
okay, yeah, you just have.
Alrighty, so. Let's see if I do it here. This way everybody can see it, right?
Good, that's fine.
Pat, there's also a map. James, do you mind if I grab that from under your stuff here?
Right ahead. Okay,
For the three of us.
so. The map is easier to work with. Is what we've decided to use the map instead of spending all this money on a comprehensive plan. That eventually, no one would read and people would forget that we even have it. But with a map, it's something that's ongoing and it's easier to understand because it's a picture. And you know what they say, a picture is worth 1,000 words. So last week, Dr. Jackson, Mitch Powers and myself, we got together and we made the first step on what the map should start off with. Everybody's in agreement that we want to keep Smithfield Township so that people can participate on a daily basis. And the best way to do that, we felt that by creating a bike path, walking path that actually starts at 447 and would be at I-80 exit 309, which is 209 north at that exit, and we'd go up 447 to Weiss, and then a little bit down to Sambo Creek. And go north on Business 209, all the way up to Smithfield Township. And then come back down and reconnect it back to I-80 exit 309. And from there, we would extend from Buttermilk Falls, because this way people see this attraction over time, and connect the Delaware National Forest with a bike path and a walking path from where it starts here in Smith in Shawnee. I guess this would be Depew, right? And then back down into the Delaware Forest, where the road goes to Portland.
Delaware Running Act.
Yep. Okay. And then bring it across. So we're talking approximately 10 to 15 miles of work. Maybe a little bit more. Probably more like 20 miles. Okay. Mitch Bauer calculated that this loop would be about 10 miles. So this, we're talking probably another another 5 to 7 miles with all the loops, with all the bends.
Do they connect? I can't.
Yeah, they connect. This all connects. That's the nice part about this is that people can take their bikes through River Road down from Delaware National Forest, this area where Delaware Water Gap is at, and then connect it all the way up, going towards Bushkill. And loop it around. What's nice, okay, it's that it was brought up, we're gonna be using the term, it's not in your backyard. Okay, because this is on a public road. It doesn't cut through anybody's property. It uses the road that's already there. And from my understanding is that we have the means, part of the means, financially to get it done.
Do we have approval to do that from the various transportation?
Well, those are things that have been, that's the process, right? So the process is that we made the proposal to make this bike path. Okay, it has to be presented to the Board of Supervisors. They have to sign off on it. You have to get an engineering plan. They have to, it's feasibility plan to make sure that,
Access.
and how much it's gonna cost, okay? And how much we're gonna be able to get from Monroe County, from the state to put this together, plus what money does Smithfield Township have contribute to make it happen. There are a lot of things involved because one of the things that we talked about is safety. Even though there is no, it would be extremely rare that someone would get hurt from traffic. There's always that, there's the mindset in today's world, okay, that it's some impending doom, that something's gonna happen.
Well, it
Okay,
does.
so we,
It's a good idea.
so, we're talking about mothers are gonna be concerned about if they let their children on these bike paths, that there's some sort of barrier. And that's something that has to be worked out. And eventually, whatever existing lights will be part of it. So towards the evening, they can be used. Also, I believe this will contribute to bringing down the cost, where actually it would help, where exercise is a big thing today. It's very important. Longevity for your bones, for the human body. It always has to fight against gravity, and the only way it can do that is by staying strong. So this will be, it'll be where children are closer to the schools. Okay, the township save money by, and if the parents agree, of course, that children can walk to school or take their bikes to school. So the other thing is that it'll connect Smithfield Township, people will get to know each other. Whereby right now, I think that the only people that know each other is, I know my neighbor across the street, next door to me. The other side, I don't know everybody in the community. This will bring the people in the area a lot closer. And this way, safety in numbers. More people are out there, the less we're going to, the problems with crime will probably diminish more when there's more people out. More people out and about, it deters crime.
Well, what do you visualize as the next steps?
The visual is to get, we have to discuss how we're gonna get this done. We have to research. We're working on what it's gonna cost. We have to make the proposal to the supervisors. They have to sign off on it. They have to like it. Okay, they're gonna come back and tell us, well, we can do this and we can't do that. Okay, so, and you have to find out, we have to get the engineering to give us a feasibility plan to,
It's an access plan.
right, to let us, well, this is already, from what Dr. Jackson is telling us, that we already have easements along 209.
Well, I mean,
To be able to
disability
use-
access. Access is a term that they use. in the-
You mean, okay.
Access for
This
persons
is
with
disability.
disabilities.
Okay,
You're talking about ADA access.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I believe that that's part of it, and it, well, most of this road here, except for probably this area along Craig's Meadow Road.
No, this is 209 you're.
Right, exactly, but along Craig's Meadow Road and then up where the warehouse is up, we got a nice big hill. That's the big, and from Delaware Water Gap to the National Forest.
The national forest, you mean the rec area, you mean, not the national forest?
This is the National Forest.
Okay, well, that's the rec area up there.
Right, it's the Delaware Water Gap Natural Recreation Area, which is a national forest.
As far as the discussion on
Yes,
the official map is concerned. This is the official map that you guys have created.
we're working, this is the plan of the map.
Okay, but I'm
Okay, it
saying,
has to get approved
but I'm,
for it to become official.
right, but I'm saying we're trying to introduce an official map for the township, right?
Correct.
But if part of your official map for the township is presenting a bike path, like. But
Part of the official map is to use it as a comprehensive plan.
I understand, but I mean, as far as well, the discussion is on the official map. And we're talking about the official map because we wanna start working on an official map, right?
Correct.
Okay. So, in working on an official map, I think we haven't really decided what we were doing with as a group, right?
No, I think,
Okay.
next thing is conceptually, do we wanna say conceptually,
I'm just saying, as a group, we're discussing the idea of the official map.
yes.
But the discussion revolves right now just around a bike path, so.
No,
Okay.
okay, yeah, let me make that a little bit clearer. The first thing that we propose for the official map is this bike path.
Okay.
Okay, now it becomes a comprehensive plan.
It's a good.
So so whatever things that come along that we like to propose to the supervisors, we're going to put it on the map.
Yeah, so,
Okay, so areas that will be used for,
this is just an
commercial?
example of something that we can do with the official map, is propose a bike path.
Well, I have I'm a little surprised by this bike path plan, because I never heard of it before. So where did the bike path
well,
plan come
every,
from?
in few of the meetings since we've started. Okay, since the inception of the EIC again. The bike path, the walking path has surfaced where in fact, a lot of people have voted or have asked that this would be part of Smithfield Township.
Well, we didn't vote.
When did we do that?
We didn't vote. It was brought up several times.
I don't remember that discussion. I must have been absent.
Okay, it may be. Okay, but it's been brought up several times where we've talked about bringing, having a bike path. Is there something about a bike path that offends you?
No. But I said I'm
Okay,
surprised,
but-
and you haven't answered who came up with the bike path plan. Was that you and Mitch?
No,
No, I just,
no,
I'm
no,
just-
it was proposed, okay?
by whom?
Who?
Okay, originally, it was brought up by, Michael and also, Brett. Okay, and I also brought it up.
Yeah.
Because I thought that this is a very important thing for.
Well, it wasn't captured in the minutes.
No,
I
it
can
was
tell you
not.
that.
I haven't seen anything in the
But what
minutes.
I'm- Just hold on a second, just so we know, just so we can stay a little bit more focused.
Okay.
is that the discussion about the official map, we did talk about it, we
Mhm.
understand the idea behind it. I think that what we as a group should be doing is coming together to decide how we're going to use the official map and how that pertains to the advisory council, the environmental advisory council. So instead of just jumping right into
Okay,
bike path.
do we have copies of this?
Which. Yes, everybody has.
Yeah.
Okay, so on here it says what can be shown on the official map. Okay, so if you look at the last item. Okay, what can be shown? Okay, bikeways, routes, trails along existing roads.
No, I totally agree with you. I like
Okay.
that the bike path is an option for us to discuss when discussing our development of an official map.
Yes.
I want to discuss a bike path as well. That's great. But I think that what we haven't discussed is how, as a council, we as a whole council are going to we're spending our time working on an official map.
Right, that's
So
part
probably-
of that's part of the responsibility.
Well, I'm saying we should probably,
And we came up with this idea. To use the official map, so we can place, instead of, again, we go back to the comprehensive plan. So instead of spending that money on a comprehensive plan, we make proposals on the map.
James,
Doesn't mean
we understand,
But wait, let me make it clear.
Well,
Okay?
I think
This
we
is
understand.
just proposals. Okay, this isn't just a bike path. Okay, these are other things that are gonna be placed in the map.
Mhm.
Okay, so these are the things that we're going to discuss and vote. Okay, so we're just starting on this. We're trying to get something to happen. Okay, a lot of
Can you
things.
just stop a minute? We know that, okay? Eric has said it, he said it,
But
and
what
I
is-
said it.
what
What
would
do
you-
you want us
what-
to do next?
Exactly, okay? What is it you wanna do next? Okay, this is the first proposal. How do you wanna, work on it? How do you wanna make it happen? Do we wanna make it happen?
Well,
Okay,
this is
do we
a
wanna?
great opportunity for community involvement, if in fact.
Yeah, I think as a group, we should just
Right,
decide that
but
we're
that-
gonna,
We're not gonna decide this today. I'm explaining the purpose of why we're using this map as a comprehensive.
And we got it.
We understand, let's
Okay,
move
so
on.
now, exactly, so now we're going to get together and discuss it.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay,
we're trying.
and see what other things we could put in there. Yes, we need community involvement, we need the community to come in and give input on what we're gonna do. Okay, this isn't just, we decided we're gonna do this and leave everybody out.
it's just an example of what we can do with a map. Yes, absolutely.
So tonight, we can make a motion to approve the concept of an official, draft official.
Exactly,
Yes.
So that's really all we need to do tonight, as far as I'm concerned.
right, but now that I've repeated it 3 times, I'm sure that you don't wanna hear it for a fourth. Okay?
That's true.
Okay.
I don't.
So, yeah, I think it's great. I think it's great, and I think that it'll be really
You
helpful.
gonna, is that a motion?
I'll make a motion to, yes, spend some time as a committee, discussing an official map further.
I second it. All in favor?
Do you want to discuss it anymore, or are we done with it?
Do you have any,
No.
So we'll make this,
how do you feel about this?
I think it's a great idea for bikers, road bikers.
And walkers.
Walkers,
tough road.
I don't think so. For road bikers, yes.
If it's safe, then you'll see walkers.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry. Any more discussion? I
That's it.
Changed. Okay, all in favor? Aye.
So you'll just add this as this agenda item at the next meeting, to
Yeah.
continue this discussion.
Yes.
And if there's any more input into the specifics, then we can also discuss those, right?
Mhm.
Okay.
One thing that kind of came to me is that once we get this more conceptually concrete, that this would be a good, like, presentation, public presentation, for people to understand what this all means and the comprehensive plan versus a comprehensive map and all that, and give, and kind of see if we can't have a good public meeting of some kind.
So would that be considered like a public hearing then? See if
It could
people really
be,
want it
sure.
or
The
not?
meetings are public, they're announced, so if people want to show up, they can show up, right?
But are you gonna take footage from people's property?
No,
along for
that's the whole point. It's not in my backyard. Means that all of this is happening on public roads. It doesn't,
Because there are some front yards that goes into 09.
I-
Milford Road, that's,
I think that when we invite the public in, what we'll probably be doing is showing a map of the township. And it's kind of like a wish list, in the next 30 years, what would we like to kind of see things? If there's a scenic corridor, if there's green space or parks, or, oh, this is a great idea, and everybody can come together and kind of say, this is what the best that Smithfield Township could be, seen and viewed and enjoyed as, like, best case scenario. And you can take public comment and, your ideas, and then you kind of create this map and then hope that someday you get there.
And we might be able to find some experts
when you
that-
create the map, like you said, 30 years,
Yeah.
40 years, remember, technology's changing. There'll be air taxis, so you gotta, Consider that.
Yeah.
so you might have
Yeah.
places for the air taxis to land.
Right, and flying cars like the Jetsons.
Yeah.
It's happening,
The air taxis are gonna be out there soon, they're testing them.
absolutely.
One of the other things that we brought up was, Gapview Drive. To move Gapview Drive
Yeah, get it
to,
all the way
and
out.
connect it directly into Buttermilk Falls.
Absolutely.
Okay, instead of, so this way because, lately I've noticed that there's increase of accidents.
I live there.
It's really awful.
So that's what we have here. We have the ability to make
Right.
changes. We
That's a
can
good
add
point,
this, we
James.
can add this to the map, okay? We have the ability, we have the funds are available, so we can make this change sooner rather than later. And it's something that will change the whole outlook.
Thank you very much. Alex, do you, what do you see as our next step with the supervisors?
Well, I think this group wants to discuss it more,
Mhm.
and
It's
then
too early to discuss it, is what I'm asking. We shouldn't bring it up.
definitely don't bring it up to the supervisors yet.
Okay.
Also,
That was my
also
question.
remember when you're talking about this, that you already have an official map and this would technically be an update to what you already have. So they
Right.
adopted it in 2013. So what this is, what you're looking at is an update to the official map, right? So it's been over 10 years. And, you know, what the subcommittee discussed was leave what you already have on there, like the, abandoned railroad trails and, the potential parks and the various designations of the lands like educational, etc. All of those things are great. Don't change that, but here are some additional things that might be beneficial.
The world has
Planning
changed.
perspective.
There's, the world has changed. I mean,
It connects most of the parts along River Road.
Mhm.
Because that's where the bulk of the parks are at. And it will connect them all together. And it's, with a bike path, it gets a whole lot easier to get there. Especially for young people. Okay, they need a place to get the yayas out. And I think this is why.
I'm
I
not
think
asking what a yaya.
Great idea.
Yaya is that pent up energy that we all have that needs to get out of our systems.
Okay,
I think we all agree that a bike path is a good idea.
Okay.
Let's move ahead.
okay, and are we finished with the discussion? Okay, that's it, right?
New business, we're
No,
not.
we don't have any new business.
No.
Any new business?
No, I just have one comment.
Yeah, council members'
The
comment.
July newsletter is going out.
All right.
That's as our yearly, wrap up. But the next one should be probably started to be worked on. I'm
Good
imagining.
point.
So I don't think that we didn't come up with an outline of a newsletter for everything following this July newsletter. So we meet in 2 weeks, but for the agenda in 2 weeks, I think that I'll come with some type of a, outline for a newsletter, just I'll put something together, but maybe we can spend 15 minutes kind of filling in a couple of things that we're gonna put in that newsletter for August.
Well, and we could even forecast
Sure.
for future newsletters. What are the things we
Right.
want
Yeah,
to do?
sure. Yeah, exactly.
Well, that could be an item for next agenda.
Yeah, that's
But I
what,
think that's what you're proposing,
yeah,
correct?
yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anything else? James, I want to thank you again. Council members, anything else you want to say?
I think not.
You know what
Okay.
I say? This is what I tell everyone when I start a project. Don't thank me until the deal is done.
the
Okay,
deals.
because there's always disappointment in between, you don't know what's gonna happen from one minute to the next, so. This is an ongoing process, okay, and a lot of minds need to be changed. People are. Here change. Change is good. It's just that we all have to do it together.
Agreed. Comments from the public?
Yes, I have one comment. You guys were talking about earlier about how, he was gonna have an open house, the farm, and you were looking for more community involvement. Happy Tail Farms, maybe that's something that you might reach out, they're private, but they do by appointments. They do have farm animals, so they might have something to work with the community.
It's at the airport, right?
That's at the airport, yes,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
where it could be protected too, again, the airport.
I think they have farm stand with vegetables too.
Yes,
right?
they sell, they're open to the public for their vegetables, they have a stand.
Does somebody wanna talk to them and report back? See if they'd be willing to do an open house of some sort,
Anybody, any
or they
volunteers?
wanna come here or something.
I don't know who you're talking
I
about.
don't know them, but I know somebody who does, I can ask. Yeah. I can ask them, for sure.
Pursue it, is
Yeah, it's
what,
like a petting zoo thing, kind of like
Yeah.
petting, yeah.
They do bring they're like a mobile farm too, they do bring the animals to like
and if,
places. Kids
if,
go
if
out.
it, one of our council members should go, I'm happy to go.
How easy.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I mean, go,
I can,
talk
like
to
that.
I can just
A
ask.
bike path, they could just take it
Yeah.
right to the airport,
them.
okay? We can even connect it down to the airport.
We'll take our bikes. Straight to.
Oh,
Okay.
well, you have a few goats.
do we have
I
a
move to adjourn this meeting.
second?
I second.
Thank you, guys, this was a very